Vin Ballin's back, let's react. Now the evil genius Alex Bale is back once again with another SpongeBob conspiracy theory. And this one is titled The Robot Invasion Conspiracy Theory number 7. Now, let's get to it.
Alright, so I admit it, some of my theories have been a little crazy lately.
Yeah.
I mean, Goofy Goober, Alien Death Cult theory, Pearl's Dead Mother theory. Let's maybe try and
Yo, Pro's Dead Mother theory is mind-blowing, bro.
slow down a bit on this one. There is a secret robot invasion happening in Bikini Bottom! Everywhere you look, robots have integrated themselves into society, kidnapping and replacing people with robot cyborgs, waiting for their chance to rise up and start the robot apocalypse. This is not a joke, I repeat, the robots are coming.
Coming up strong, okay, coming in strong.
This is the robot invasion theory.
Of course, we gotta start with the cinematic intros. Because if you guys don't know, Alex Bale is actually a filmmaker. And he just does these theories. Okay, Alex Bale with the long hair.
Alex.
Oh. Sorry, what?
You okay, dude?
Yeah, sorry, I've just got a lot on my mind lately.
How's the SpongeBob theorizing going?
It's good. I'm actually thinking about maybe stopping.
Why? They're
What?
huge.
Yeah, I mean, people watch them. It's just, I didn't go to film school for 3 years just to make SpongeBob theories forever.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
but
though.
I mean, it's just something you're doing now. Doesn't mean you have to do them, like, forever.
It's easy for you to say. I mean, what, you're a year out of film school and you're already directing commercials?
Yeah, but I didn't go to film school to make commercials either. It's just something I'm doing for now. I like SpongeBob theories.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, these videos also just, they take a lot to make. Not sure if I'm up for it anymore.
Dude, up for it? You just like watching cartoons all day. That sounds awesome. I would kill to have as many followers as you, man. I'd be set. I've been trying to get my film funded for months, and I still have nothing to show for it. You know, sounds like a pretty sweet gig you got there.
Yo, bro, why
Hey,
did
it's
that look
time
so
for another
cool?
SpongeBob conspiracy.
don't really
Wow, I
understand
just
the
realized
situation,
I've been making SpongeBob videos for over a year now. Definitely did not think that I'd still be making these a year later. But it's all worth it, right? Because you guys love them, and I love making them, and they're super easy to make.
Part 1, okay.
One of my favorite episodes of SpongeBob is the Season 3 episode Crabborg. SpongeBob watches a scary robot movie, then gets super
yeah, I
paranoid
remember
about
this
robots
episode.
taking over, and even kidnaps Mr. Krabs.
What? You think I'm a robot?
Oh, bro,
We
nostalgia.
don't think, we know.
It's a really funny episode, but I can't help but wonder if SpongeBob's fears might be a bit more justified than we thought. In the episode SB129, we get our first glimpse of the future of Bikini Bottom, 2,000 years later.
Okay, what's going on here? Why is everything chrome?
Everything is chrome in the future.
We see a world covered in chrome, where everyone has been replaced with robotic people.
SpongeBob, is that you?
SpongeBob? No, I am SpongeTron.
And this isn't the only time we see a future full of robots. In the Season 7 episode Back to the Past, SpongeBob time travels to an alternate future where Man Ray takes over, and once again, people have been replaced by robots. And then, in the second SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water, there's a deleted scene
I
where
didn't watch
SpongeBob
that
and Plankton
movie,
go to
though.
the future and see this.
We did it! I wonder when we are. Excuse me, sir. Do you know what year this is? Cyborgs? We didn't go back in time. We went front in time.
And there's even foreshadowing in episodes that take place in the present. In the Krusty Krab training video, we hear this.
Well, luckily for you, Mr. Krabs' fear of robot overlords keeps the balance of technology in check.
And in Insecurity Guards, we can see an exhibit that clearly shows the evolution of SpongeBob eventually getting taken over by robots. Okay, so there seems to be a lot of evidence for the future of Bikini Bottom being taken over by robots. But honestly, why does any of this matter? I mean, robots ruling the world is a pretty common depiction of the future in lots of different media.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
even if this is the canonical future of the show, it's at the very least thousands of years in the future. It's not like we can already see this robot invasion happening in present-day Bikini Bottom, right? Here's an interesting question about SpongeBob that's always bothered me. Why are there so many robots in the show? And I'm not talking about
Yeah, that's
Sandy
true.
or Plankton's inventions. It makes sense for them to have robots since they're both genius inventors. But why do hospitals and office buildings and amusement parks and Weenie Hut Juniors and many, many more places have such advanced robots? I mean, let's ignore the fact that they're underwater and robots wouldn't really make sense down here. Bikini Bottom isn't like a super advanced society, right? You wouldn't really say that they have much futuristic technology, except when it comes to robots. But why? And what's even stranger is that there are many instances where these robots suddenly turn evil. The first time I really started to notice this was in the Season 7 episode Tunnel of Glove. SpongeBob and Pearl get trapped in a Glove World boat ride that's full
I
of
remember this
animatronics.
episode too.
Patrick tries to set them free by breaking into the control room, but accidentally causes all the animatronics to suddenly turn evil and attack SpongeBob. Now, this is a pretty basic cartoon trope. Someone accidentally breaks the controls, then the robot malfunctions and turns evil. This isn't really all that weird for SpongeBob. Except, what's strange about this is that Patrick doesn't break any controls. He hits a button labeled Animatronic Override, and that's what causes the robots to turn evil.
I'll just gingerly lean on this wall. Huh?
They aren't malfunctioning. The robots were intentionally designed to have a button that makes them attack people, but why? Then, in the episode Good Neighbors, Squidward discovers a flyer for a home security system that's suspiciously free despite it clearly being very advanced. After he sets it up, his house suddenly grows arms and legs and starts destroying Bikini Bottom.
Oh yeah. And Squidward had to do community service.
Destroying the neighborhood.
Now, to be fair, this was a malfunction caused by SpongeBob, but why would a simple home security system have giant arms and legs? I mean, the malfunction
Exactly.
didn't create them, they were clearly already installed. They eventually do manage to stop the house, but what's really creepy about this is that we can still see signs of Squidward's house being sentient after this episode. Then, in the
Yeah.
Season 11 episode Krusty
didn't I notice
Cleaners,
that?
SpongeBob and Patrick go to an office building and encounter a trash cleaning robot. The robot immediately attacks them for causing a mess.
Damn!
My rope is roasting!
But this time, there's no malfunction that causes this. It's working exactly as
Designed.
intended. Not only does the trash robot have a buzzsaw and a literal laser cannon, but it also turns all of the nearby machines into killer robots to help hunt down SpongeBob and Patrick. So, where are all these places getting these super advanced robots, and more importantly, why are they all being programmed to suddenly turn evil? This is a question that stumped me for a while, until I watched the Season 11 episode, My Leg. This is the episode where I truly realized there was an actual conspiracy theory here, and
Oh,
not just
really?
cartoon antics. It's time we finally find out who's behind the robot invasion.
Okay, let's go. Oh, of course, another cutscene.
Hey, I'm still serious about you leaving this house. It's not that I don't appreciate everything you've done for me, it's just, I think we want very different things. You know, I don't want it to come to this, but I will use force if I have to, so you better go.
Mastermind, okay.
The episode My Leg focuses on the reoccurring gag of this one fish always injuring his leg throughout the show.
My leg! My leg! My leg!
At one point in the episode, he goes to a hospital and meets a robot that works there. It's just a small throwaway gag. The robot never turns evil or does anything strange.
Don't take my leg! Don't take my leg!
But there's something awfully familiar about the robot's design. Let's go all the way back to the Season 3 episode Plankton's Army, which opens with Plankton trying to steal the Krabby Patty's secret formula with a robot disguise.
You never know what trick he'll use to steal me secret Krabby
Plankton's
Patty
invention?
formula.
What a quaint restaurant. I think I will sample their wares.
These robots have an uncanny similarity, right
So
down
are
to
you
the
saying
same
that Plankton
time.
made them?
Okay, but maybe we can just chalk this up to the showrunners being lazy and reusing assets. But SpongeBob has always had a pretty diverse amount of robot designs throughout the show. And it's not like this is a direct copy-paste either. They went to the effort to redesign the face and colors, but it was still clearly based on Plankton's robot. So, here's my theory. Plankton has built many robots to try and steal the Krabby Patty secret formula, but I think after he fails to do so, he doesn't just throw them away. He redesigns the robots and then gives them to different businesses in Bikini Bottom with the intention to one day use them to take over the world once he has enough in place. I mean, we know what Plankton really wants isn't the secret
Plankton
formula,
is
it's to rule the
behind
world.
it.
I will rule the world!
So they're
And
saying
there's
that
even the
Plankton's
video
behind
game,
it.
Battle for Bikini Bottom, where Plankton tried to take over using an army of robots.
What is
so
this?
this theory doesn't seem too far-fetched for Plankton's character, but we're gonna need a lot more evidence if we're gonna prove he's the one behind all the robots in Bikini Bottom. So, let's get started. In the Season 3 episode No Weenies Allowed, we see a robot working at a place called Weenie Hut Juniors.
Would you care for another Diet Cola with a lemon twist, Weenie?
And while it doesn't resemble any of the robots we've seen Plankton make, does that voice sound familiar to you?
Would you care for another Diet Cola
Now
with
that I
a
think
lemon
about it.
twist? What a quaint restaurant. I think I will
Oh!
sample their wares.
And again, it's not like this is the default robot voice.
Bro, Alex, the attention to detail on the works that you make, bro. Like, it's kind of amazing on how you watch a lot of SpongeBob, bro.
Here in SpongeBob. There are many different voices the show has used for robot characters.
What a quaint restaurant.
Greetings, I am Robo 2.1.
No threat detected. This is very uncomfortable.
Leave my father alone!
But here, they specifically recreated the voice from Plankton's robot. Let's go back to Glove World for a second. In the control room, we see a machine on the wall that looks shockingly like SpongeBob.
Oh yeah,
so
I
much so
remember
that Patrick
noticing
even
that when I
mistakes
was a
him for
kid.
it. We know Plankton has built a SpongeBob robot before in Welcome to the Chum Bucket. Maybe he repurposed it here inside of Glove World. In Krusty Cleaners, the trash robot also has a striking resemblance to Plankton's robot in the Season 9 episode Eek and Urchin. In the Season 5 episode The Patty Gadget, Squidward tries to get SpongeBob fired by replacing him with a machine that creates Krabby Patties for free. But it's never explained where Squidward got this machine. Now, it doesn't resemble anything we've seen Plankton make, but a staple in a lot of Plankton's inventions is having them resemble his likeness, especially with one eye in the middle, and that's exactly what we see with the Patty Gadget. And the patties it makes are terrible, which would make sense for something Plankton made. In the episode All That Glitters, SpongeBob buys a super advanced talking spatula.
Le Spatula 3000 at your service.
But in the episode Evil Spatula, we find out Plankton has a whole collection of advanced spatulas just like this one, and even tries to trick SpongeBob into taking a talking spatula. It seems like no matter where we turn, we can find a connection between the technology in Bikini Bottom and Plankton. But, if you remember in those glimpses of the future, the world isn't just ruled by robots. They've actually replaced all the existing citizens with robot copies.
I am SpongeTron.
And believe it or not, this is also something we can already see happening in Bikini Bottom today. Get ready to see how far this robot invasion has really gone.
Oh no, please not another cutscene. I knew it.
Hey,
Hey!
Victoria, what are you doing here?
I was just around, thought I'd stop by. Can I come in? Or,
Inside? No, it's not a good time right now.
in all honesty, it kind of seems like you're going through something. I just wanted to check in on you.
Yeah, that's a good friend right
I
there.
appreciate that. It's just, I'm fine, it's just the SpongeBob stuff is been keeping me really busy and a little stressed about that, and, but I'm fine, you should probably go.
You're being really weird. You're not answering your phone. You're living in total darkness. You just talk to me? What's going on?
Okay, fine, okay, we can talk, just not here.
Fine. Do you want to get coffee or something?
Sure, fine, yeah. I gotta put something away, just stay right here.
Trust no one, okay.
Now, we know Plankton has tried to turn people into robots before.
SpongeBob, come in here! Or should I say Robot Bob?
But he gave up after SpongeBob was too annoying.
You've got to take that yellow nightmare back! It's not worth it!
But I don't think this was his only attempt. In the season 11 episode, The Checkup, SpongeBob and Squidward are trying to give Mr. Krabs a health checkup by testing his pinching reflexes.
Okay, I brought plenty of things for Mr. Krabs to pinch. A pinch of salt.
And one of the things they have him pinch is a baby.
A baby's cheek.
What? What the what?
Lucky that was a robot baby.
Some random baby just turned out to be a robot,
Why would
and
there be
it's
a
never
robot
explained
baby?
why. That's weird even for SpongeBob. But things get even more interesting when we go back to Season 9 in the episode Plankton's Pet, where Plankton tries to steal a Krabby Patty using the exact same purple baby as a robot disguise.
That diabolical fiend! I can't believe this is working!
And we're not even done yet. If we go even further back to the Season 5 episode Goo Goo Gas, we can actually see the exact moment where Plankton gets the idea to turn the baby into a robot.
Why, you're so tiny and helpless, I could take your formula whenever I wanted to, and you couldn't do a thing about it.
That's it! Finally, victory will be mine!
Now, in the episode, it's implied that this is just him getting the idea to turn everyone into babies to steal the formula, but isn't it crazy how it also perfectly lines up with the purple baby fish suddenly
tell me
turning
that he
into a
killed the
robot
baby,
in
bro.
future episodes? Now, there's another fish who's always been very suspicious to me. The strangely realistic news anchor fish.
All of Bikini Bottom is abuzz
Also,
over
you think
the
he's a robot
identity
too?
of a mysterious flying man who helps people. Who knows what superhero act of courage he'll astound us with next?
In a show full of cartoon characters, why is he the only realistic one? In fact, I made a whole theory about how there are evolved cartoony fish that can talk, and primitive realistic fish who can't. But as many people have pointed out, the one exception to this is the realistic news anchor fish. Well, if you ask me, he looks a lot like one of those animatronic singing fish you buy in a gift shop. Especially the way he mechanically moves his mouth and how we only ever see one side of him. So, already a pretty strong indication that he might be a robot, but there's also something familiar about his voice.
What kind of cruel, careless, evil person? I'll canvass all the seediest
Oh my
brown
gosh!
boys in town.
That's right, he has the same voice as Plankton. And if you're gonna take
What?
over the world, then you're definitely gonna want to control the media. But how exactly is
How
Plankton
did you-
replacing these people
oh
with
my
robots?
gosh,
Well,
the no-
I think
the
the season
attention
10
to
episode
detail, bro.
Whirly Brains gives us an important clue. In this episode, suddenly a new toy becomes extremely popular in Bikini Bottom, the Whirly Brain.
Just put your lid, attach the propeller, and watch your brain soar hundreds of feet into the air.
Yeah, it's a weird episode. So, people are actually voluntarily attaching devices to their brains and ripping them out of their bodies, and no one thinks that this is suspicious? If you ask me, this seems like the perfect way to replace someone with a robot. Remember, in Welcome to the Chum Bucket, Plankton told us how he turns people into robots.
I'll be forced to remove your brain and implant it in my robot chef!
By removing their brains. But is there any proof that he's the one behind the Whirly Brain toys? Let's take a look at the new SpongeBob prequel, The Patrick Star Show. Every once in a while, the show cuts to this stop-motion parody of Frankenstein with Plankton, and he actually uses Whirly Brains to conduct his experiments. It's not super clear how this all connects to the main show. I mean, we do see Patrick interact with the stop-motion Plankton at some point, so they're at least in the same universe, but regardless, it's still a solid connection. We see another head-based gadget in the Season 11 episode Bottle Burglars, an invisible
it's the
helmet
pickle
being
guy.
advertised in a magazine for only 99 cents. And in the same episode, we see Plankton using the exact same helmet.
Crabs will never see me coming invisible.
Now, maybe this is just implying that he bought the helmet
Bro, honestly, Plankton could just be a, an inventor and businessman, bro. Like, why are you so focused on getting a Krabby Patty?
from the magazine, but that doesn't really line up with what we know about Plankton as an inventor. Plus, I can't see them selling a tiny version of the helmet just for Plankton. Seems a lot more likely that Plankton created the helmet and is selling them to the people of Bikini Bottom, possibly as a way to create more robots. Alright, so we're starting to get a pretty clear idea of how Plankton plans on turning the citizens of Bikini Bottom into robots. But there is one more character that I believe has already been secretly assimilated into a robot. And it's not some random background character either. It's one of the the main characters in
Squidward?
SpongeBob
Gary?
SquarePants. This final part of the robot invasion theory is going to completely change the way you look at the entire
I
show.
wanna guess.
Are you ready? Because this is the Patrick Star theory.
Patrick? Is it when his brain was removed and he became smart? Because I remember there's like a brain. I remember an episode where there were brain corals, and SpongeBob accidentally put a brain coral inside Patrick's head instead of his actual brain. I think that has connection. Like the robots bringing the brains into a field. I think that has a connection, bro.
Victoria! Victoria! Victoria!
Bro, Alex could make horror films. Hey, the meme. It's the meme face.
Now, I fully realize saying Patrick is a robot is a very bold claim, but hold your judgments till the end. By far, the most requested theory I get on this channel is to cover Patrick Star, and more specifically, his inconsistent intelligence. Throughout the entire show, there are these little moments where Patrick suddenly says something smart.
I'm a bit more complicated than that. The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
And then immediately goes back to being dumb. There's so many examples of this happening that many people have actually made their own theories about it. Is Patrick secretly a genius and just pretending to be dumb? Does he have a secret split personality?
I diagnosed Patrick Star with trauma-induced anxiety triggered spontaneously duplicative multi-intellectual DID with additional paranoid schizophrenic delusions of a mental multiverse.
Maybe, but I've come to a bit of a different conclusion. Have you ever noticed how every time we see Patrick try to think, there's either sparks or smoke coming out of his head?
I thought it was just a runaway gag.
It's Patrick thinking again.
And almost every time we see inside of Patrick's head, it's represented with gears or some kind of machinery.
Come on, David.
Now, we're supposed to assume that this is just a cartoony way to visualize thoughts, but what's strange is just how consistent they are with it. And even stranger, none of the other characters' thoughts are visualized this way.
Just got an order from the boss. Dump everything that isn't about fine dining. Squidward's happy gland is forced to take shelter in the recesses of his mind.
It's only Patrick who seems to have this robotic association with him. And just look at how detailed they are with it. While Patrick's head is sparking in Rule of Dumb, if you look closely, you can see a spring pop out of him, and even a hole left behind by the spring. That is such a small detail that no one would notice unless you were going frame by frame. And if this is just supposed to be a metaphor inside of Patrick's head, how come SpongeBob clearly sees the spring come out? Okay, so let's entertain the idea for a moment that Patrick might be some sort of robot. How would he have gotten converted, and why does this cause him to randomly become smart every once in a while? Well, I looked at all the scenes where Patrick suddenly does something smart, and I noticed a bit of a pattern. There are two different types of these moments. There are times when we think he's saying something intelligent.
Wait, SpongeBob! We're not cavemen! We have
technology.
But then it's revealed he's not actually being smart. This doesn't contradict his character at all. Patrick is someone who doesn't see himself as dumb, so there's lots of times when he tries to be smart, but he fails.
Dumb people are always blissfully unaware of how dumb they really are.
I remember
But there are
this.
also moments where he actually does do something undeniably smart.
Wait a minute, Squidward. They might be onto something.
We could filter the CO2 through our ballast tanks, refire the engines, and ride the shockwave out of here.
Wow. He's right.
But then he immediately acts oblivious to the fact that he was being smart.
We're going through with your plan, Patrick. Yay!
What plan?
So, I kept track of these two different types of moments, and it seems like after Season 3 is when he suddenly switches from pretending to be smart to actually having these smart moments. And this switch perfectly lines up with the Season 4 episode, Patrick's Smarty Pants. In this episode, Patrick falls off a cliff.
Bro. I called it, bro. I freaking Called it. I knew there was a connection to this.
His head knocked off.
I called
SpongeBob accidentally replaces his head with some brain coral, which makes him become a genius.
I find all this laughter to be highly illogical.
In the end, they switch back to his normal head, and Patrick goes back to his usual stupid
I freaking knew it, bro. I called
elf.
that.
But take a
I knew
closer
it.
look at the scene when he first puts on the brain coral.
Here's your head.
It plugged and it sparked.
Now, many people have interpreted these gears with cobwebs as a metaphor for Patrick's brain never being used until now, but these gears are not from Patrick's brain. His brain came off during the fall, which means these gears are entirely from the brain coral. And at the end of the episode, when they remove the brain coral, we can still see the electrical plug attached to it. We are no longer seeing a metaphorical representation inside of someone's head. We are seeing this plug from an outside perspective. The brain coral is just like the Whirly Brains, a robotic device that plugs into your brain to control you. Isn't it convenient that Patrick just happened to land next to a pile of coral that looked identical to his head? Is it possible that Plankton saw this as an opportunity to add another victim to his robot invasion? But after Patrick removed it, he went back to normal, right? He completely stopped Plankton's plan, right? Well, one season later, in the episode Sing a Song of Patrick, Patrick attempts to use his brain again, and we see the exact same gears inside of his head.
Come on, you stupid brain! Work!
The creators went out of their way to recreate the exact placement of all the gears from the brain coral, which means the head Patrick put on at the end of Patrick's Smarty Pants was not his head. It was another piece of robotic brain coral. But it seems like, for whatever reason, this brain coral isn't as effective as the first one, and he's only able to have rare moments of genius. In the Season 12 episode, SpongeBob's Big Birthday Blowout, Patrick has another one of his smart moments.
Oh, would you look at the hour? It's almost time for me to take SpongeBob on that tour so you guys can decorate his house.
But this moment in particular is very interesting because Plankton is actually there to witness it. And take a guess how Plankton responds to him.
What?
I guess even a broken moron can be right once a day.
He calls Patrick a broken moron because he knows Patrick is a broken one of his experiments. And if you still don't believe me, in the newest episode of Season 13, The Goofy Scoopers, we get this scene.
What?
This stinks. I wanted to go backstage for an autograph.
Plankton was here. Yes, he certainly was. And that is the robot invasion theory. Thank you very much.
No. If you guys know Alex Bell, there's always a plot twist to his theories. Time for the plot twist, let's go.
Okay, robot invasion theory done. Hey, we just passed 500,000 subscribers.
What?
Thank you guys so much. This is honestly a dream come true for me. I mean, I've always wanted to have this many people watching me for SpongeBob theories. You guys wouldn't all immediately unsubscribe and leave me if I stop making these.
We won't, bro.
Right?
No, we're gonna watch your films, bro. Don't worry.
Thanks again for watching. I've been your host, the SpongeBob guy. I will
Here
see
comes the
you.
twist. Come on,
I'll see you guys. Bye.
Twist, come on. Oh, there might be no twist.
Wait, Victoria! Do not give me the silent treatment right now. I swear to God, if you did something, I'll...
Oh my god!
Victoria, where were you?
I was using your bathroom. Why the fuck are you pointing a knife at me?
Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, you cannot be here right now.
No, I am not leaving until you tell me what's going on.
Listen, I promise I will explain everything to you later. You cannot be in here.
Why are you so afraid of me being in your house?
Victoria, I promise you, this is not the time. We have to leave right now.
Your muse isn't gonna eat me!
What? She knows?
What? You mean the big tentacle monster in my basement?
Yeah.
How do you know about that?
I have one too.
What the?
What?
What? Wait, what? Oh my, what? Anyway, that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.